Here's Shalom. I don't know what I'm going to label this, but this is from RT News. It says bail fund for Darrell Brooks Jr., a fundraiser for Christmas parade massacre suspect canceled. He's trying to get bail money to get out. It says crowdfunding platform GoFundMe has torpedoed an effort to raise $5 million. That's a lot of money to bail out Darrell Brooks, the suspect in last weekend's car ramming attack on a Christmas parade in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Hey, you look at the guy, the first thing that came to my mind, they're going to find information. Oh, this guy was a BHI. How many BHI groups are there? What are the main ones? Now, they can go to IUIC, they can go to ISUPK, they can go to GMS, they can go to these different groups. Now, when they come to us, we're going to say, first of all, we don't have any guys with dreadlocks. We don't rock dreadlocks. I did videos on that. Oh, no, you do have a couple of guys. No, this guy from this camp, he got dreadlocks. He's a GMS. That's why I told y'all motherfuckers, you got dreadlocks and GMS, get to stepping. Join IUIC. You can have any hairstyle you want in IUIC. In ISUPK, I don't see a lot of guys with dreadlocks, but I guess there's some. The dreadlocks has nothing to do with the scriptures, man. And this Apostle Gabar did a video years ago on the origins of dreadlocks, and it goes back to Elam. We're not Elamites. We're not Elamites. And then it went to the islands covering Jamaica and Jamaica, that they were following this guy. They were following this guy Haile Selassie, which he's not even a Cushite. He's an Elamite, man. Look, anybody with dreadlocks in GMS, either cut them locks. Hell, shave your hair bald. When you take a vow of a Nazarene vow of the Nazarene, when you break that vow, you shave your hair, you shave your eyebrows, you shave your head, you shave it, eyebrows and all. That's what the Apostle Paul did. He kept the vow of the Nazarene, the Nazarite vow, and then he broke it to keep the Passover. If somebody wants to put it up in there, it's in the book of Acts, you can put it up in there. Just saying a few words on it. You guys, you had dreadlocks before you became an Israelite, and you like attracts women. It attracts flies too. Okay, and bed bugs. Like I said, you want to have your locks, your Goldilocks, you get with the IUIC or any of them other guys that allow this crap. A man's not supposed to have long hair. And especially these locks. And don't give me, well, Samson didn't have no dreadlocks. Samson had braids. He was under the law of the Nazarene law, the vow of the Nazarite, excuse me. That's in Numbers, the 6th chapter. And when you're under that vow, you can't drink. You can't drink wine. anything from the grapes you can't drink unless you break that vow. There's a whole lot to it. I'm not going to go all into it, but that's Numbers. And maybe somebody should do a breakdown. That's a good breakdown. Numbers, the 6th chapter. If nobody does it, I'll do it. It's no big deal. Anyway, this guy had previous. He was in the system. The judge, the bell was set in a previous court situation. I think it was $1,000. I don't know if that was before or after. He hit a woman that I believe they were dealing with each other. So he's known for running people over. And they even got it on camera that he had a big red pickup truck. So that the story changes up. But anyway, like I said, if they say, "Oh, he was one of them black Hebrew Israelites," hey, they come to us. They're gonna say, first of all, there ain't nobody in GMS got dreadlocks. Oh no, you do have guys that got dreadlocks in GMS. I told you, man. I told you. Now it's enforced. Now it's enforced. Anybody that got dreadlocks or long hair, if you're a man, you're not in GMS. You're not in GMS. And if your camp leader got a problem with me saying that, you can follow that camp leader and get the stepping. Okay? Jake is the one thing about Jake. Jake is hard headed. And the old saying is a hard head make a soft behind. Here he goes again. Washington Post deletes a scandalous tweet about parade massacre. The Washington Post has revised an article and deleted the Twitter post promoting it after saying that last weekend's Christmas parade massacre in Waukesha, Wisconsin, was caused by a SUV. I don't know what that means. Let me open that up. Come on now. Yeah, look at this guy. He a bug out. Okay, vehicle for the massacre, which left 6 people dead and 61 injured, saying the SUV rammed through the parade participants. The article didn't mention Darrell Brooks, who has been charged, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, let me come back. Boom. Okay, here you go. You see him? See them locks, long locks. And he's got a beard. So they can easily say that he's a BHI. So he got to go. He's in one of those camps. Oh, he's not in GMS because GMS doesn't. We don't have. There's no locks. Nobody has locks in GMS. Oh, what? No, we got a picture a month ago of a couple of guys. Well, they not in the camp no more. We kicked them out. No locks. No long hair. The Waukesha massacre is not a crash, and there's nothing accidental about it. Okay, there's some other news. More missiles in Europe. It's as if the U.S. learned nothing from the 80s. Let me click on that and breeze through it. More missiles in Europe. It's as if the U.S. learned nothing from the 1980s. There's a former Scott Ritter is a former Marine Corps intelligence officer and author of Scorpion King, America's suicidal embrace of nuclear weapons from FDR to Trump. From FDR to Trump, we're talking about the 30s. So they've been building these missiles for more than 50 years, clearly more than 50 years. And these missiles are going to be used. You know, this is leading to a fulfillment of many prophecies in the scriptures. You know, Isaiah 34 comes to mind. Revelation 18 comes to mind. Jeremiah 50, Jeremiah 51, Isaiah 13, Isaiah 14, just to name a few. Joel 2, Joel 3. He served in the Soviet Union as an inspector implementing the INF treaty. In General Schwarzkopf staff during the Gulf War, and from 1991 to 1998 as a UN weapons inspector. Here we go. The guided missile cruiser USS Monterey fires a Tomahawk land attack missile. As you can see. I'll read a little bit more. 4 decades ago, the deployment of U.S. intermediate range missiles to Europe nearly triggered a nuclear war with the Soviet Union, Gog and Magog. Now, by deploying new missiles to Germany, Joe Biden simply underscores the insanity of U.S. policy. Getting ready for that war, those precepts that I briefly mentioned. Let me jump down to here. I am old enough to remember the crisis surrounding the United States, Babylon the Great, introduction of intermediate range missiles, nuclear missiles, into Europe in the early to mid 1980s. In particular, the Pershing, what is that? Pershing 2, a 2-stage solid fuel mobile missile with a range of 1,100 miles. Yeah, that's mid range. That's mid range. And you have long range missiles, ICBM, intercontinental long range missiles. From its operating sites in West Germany, because West Germany is part of NATO, which is a member of the beast. The beast is not the Antichrist. It's not a guy with a Brooks Brothers suit that if you shave his head, there's 666 on the top of his head. See, that's you Christians, man. That's why you're losing. You're losing. You know, people left and right. They're leaving the Christian church, which is nothing but a Renaissance Christianity. You got Jake leaving the church because they say this is all bullshit. Our fathers have inherited lies. It said the Pershing II could strike targets in and around Moscow within 4 to 6 minutes of being, woo! Let me read that again. From its operating sites in West Germany, the Pershing II could strike targets in and around Moscow. So these missiles are focused on Moscow. So what do you think the people, the government of Russia or Gog and Magog is going to do in return? It says it's around Moscow within 4 to 6 minutes of being launched. Now, for a missile from Russia to hit the US, which that's going to definitely happen, it takes about a little bit more than 20 minutes. So where you going to go in 20 minutes, 25 minutes? Hell, I'll give you 30 minutes. Where you going to go? Who you going to call? Ghostbusters? You ain't going to go nowhere, man. Men's heart failing them for fear of those things that are coming upon the earth. All faces shall gather blackness, Joel 2. Their faces shall be as flames, Isaiah 13. Giving the United States and NATO the ability to decapitate the leadership of the Soviet Union in a surprise attack. And that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Let's read a little bit more. These missiles began being deployed to West Germany in 1983. So concerned were the Soviets about them. And NATO's intent in deploying them, that when a large-scale command and control exercise known as Able Archer, Able Archer, Able Archer. Able meaning you're able to do something. Archer is someone that shoots arrows. So they use these ancient terms from the scriptures or from ancient history to apply to the missiles. Oh no, arrows in the Bible. When you see the word arrows, it's talking about actual arrows. It's not talking about missiles. Well, why does Esau use these terms? The tomahawk missile. Able Archer or Able Archer 83 was conducted in November of 1983. It placed its strategic nuclear forces on alert, fearing that the exercise was merely a cover for a NATO nuclear surprise attack. The plot thickens. Let me read a little bit more. Read a little bit more. In his autobiography, From the Shadows, former CIA Director Robert Gates described the concern in the Soviet Union about the potential for a surprise NATO nuclear attack as being very real. In addition, the Most High is going to come when you least expect. That's 2 Peter 3, verse 10 on down. The Lord's going to come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven. Malachi 4:1. And all the proud, and all that do wickedly or wickedness shall be stubble. He noted that when I'm reading right here, he noted that when coupled with increased levels of tension. This created a real danger of miscalculation that could easily have spun out of control into the ultimate conflagration. Conflagration, that means with fire. Let's look it up. See, this is a word that's not used in the hood, so we got to look it up. Conflagration. Where we at? Okay, boom. We come back over here. All right, conflagration. It means with fire, or it should say that. Conflagration definition. Okay, an extensive fire which destroys a great deal of land or property. Con meaning with, flagation means fire, with fire. A conflagration is a large and destructive fire that threatens, let me go more into it. Conflagration. A conflagration is a large and destructive fire that threatens human life, animal life, health, and or property. It may also be described as a blaze or simply a fire. A conflagration can begin accidentally by natural causes or intentionally created. So let's go back to this. Increased levels of tension. We're in a time right now of increased levels of tension. This created a real danger of miscalculation that, and the Most High is calculating everything. You ain't running shit, Esau. That could easily have spun out of control into the ultimate conflagration with fire, a general nuclear war between the U.S. and Soviet Union, Gog and Magog. Read, what is that, Ezekiel 38 and Ezekiel 39. That would have destroyed both countries and much of the rest of the world. Well, it's all going to be concentrated on Babylon the Great. Let's read some more. So right here, the Pershing II missiles were assigned to the 56th Field Artillery Brigade, headquartered in West Germany, town of Schwadbisch Mond. I don't know how to say that. Gmund. The 56th Brigade was equipped with 72 launchers, each capable of firing a Pershing II missile. And this is missiles from 1983. So we're talking what, 40 years ago. Talking 40 years ago. So the Most High didn't allow them to build these missiles, put the spirit on them to build these missiles for nothing. Behold, I created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire to create a I'm merely paraphrasing the repping for blase. Matter of fact, let's see. Let me do this so I can read it right. Now, right here is good. I believe that's Isaiah 54. Isaiah 54. That's why I go into a lot of prophetic scriptures. I go into a lot of prophetic scriptures. I just wanted to read it right. The key verse is in the 16th verse. I'm just kind of, all right, 16th verse. Let me just go right into it. Isaiah 54, verse 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. The modern day smith are the scientists, mainly from Germany, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, which are the missiles, the ICBM missiles, medium range missiles. And I have created the waster to destroy. The waster to destroy is what? The missiles. Okay, I'm back here. Okay, let me go to where it says tensions. Increase this. Hey, this is why dudes fall off, because they don't go into the news and match the news with the prophecies in the scriptures. They lose you fall out because you lose faith. Pursuant to Hebrews 4, round about the second, third verse, not being mixed with faith. It says increased levels of tension. This created a real danger of miscalculation that could easily have spun out of control into the ultimate conflagration, a general nuclear war between the U.S. and Soviet Union that would have destroyed both countries and much of the rest of the world. Let me read a little bit more. And it's going to happen, man. Isaiah chapter 34 is going to happen. Zechariah 14, verse 12 is going to happen. The first time I heard that scripture was when I was a kid. I was about 15 years old or so. I saw a movie. It was in the theaters, The Late Great Planet Earth by Hal Lindsey, and he read that scripture, and it stuck in my mind. Then the next time I heard it is when I came into the truth. Okay, the Pershing II missiles were assigned to the 56th Field Artillery Brigade, headquartered in the West German town of Schwabich Mond. The 56th Brigade was equipped with 72 launchers, each capable of firing a Pershing II missile, armed with a 50 kiloton warhead. That's a lot of power. By way of uh, comparison, the atomic bombs that destroyed the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August of 1945 were 15 kilotons compared to 50 kilotons and 21 kilotons respectively. In 1985, once the deployment of the Pershing II missiles had been completed, the 56th Field Artillery Brigade was uh, redesignated as a 56th Field Artillery Command. Excuse me for mumbling. And let's read a little bit more and I'm going to close it. Unfortunately for the world, the 56th Field Artillery Command never saw combat. Yeah, because it wasn't time for this destruction. It wasn't time for the fulfillment of the destruction of Babylon. This is the time. If it tarry, wait for it. It shall not tarry, it shall surely come. Habakkuk 2. On December 8, 1987, driven in large part by the joint concern over the destabilizing reality of weapons like the Pershing II and their Soviet equivalent, the SS-20, U.S. President Ronald Reagan and Soviet General Secretary Mikhail Gorbachev signed the Intermediate Nuclear Force Treaty. Basically, they made a covenant not to destroy each other. But guess what? You got you forgot about the Most High. You can make all the covenants and treaties and agreements and pacts you want, or compacts, which ban an entire class of nuclear. Now, why would you build these missiles to have a treaty not to shoot it on each other? You don't have a say in the matter. Read Isaiah 54 and 16 again. An entire class of nuclear-capable ballistic missiles, including the Pershing II and SS-20, it's a Russian equivalent, and implemented inspection produce procedures to destroy these missiles and verify treaty compliance. They're not going to destroy these. I don't know what happened to the missiles, but I believe they're still in their silos, ready for the Most High to pull the trigger. Let's read one more paragraph. I had the privilege of being among the very first American inspectors to travel to the Soviet Union to implement the provisions of this treaty, because they had to check on each other's what are they doing behind the scenes. As part of the disarmament provisions of the treaty, the Pershing II missiles assigned to the 56th Field Artillery Command were withdrawn from service and destroyed. So they say. And in 1991, the command disbanded. Wow. It says the new Dark Eagle hypersonic missile, as well as the Typhoon. I should read that, but you know what I'm gonna do? Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this here. Let me go to Google. The new Dark Eagle hypersonic missile. Let me go Dark Eagle. Let's do a little research on this. Yeah, so you have videos here. Lockheed Martin delivered new Dark Eagle, and the symbol for Esau is the eagle. As Esau's symbol, it says Dark Eagle U.S. hypersonic missile can hit mainland China, excuse me. Dark Eagle U.S. Army hypersonic missile. Let me click on that. Let me click on that.
Late 2020 and state this year has been bizarre would be an understatement. For over 6 months of quarantine. The U.S. Army has named its new land-based hypersonic weapon system Dark Eagle. The Army has indicated that it's confident that the weapon will enter service in 2023. Once deployed, Dark Eagle will provide the U.S. Army with a land-based, long-range capability. Importantly, the weapon will be almost invulnerable to the air defense systems that are now in place. The progress in this is also critical since Russia and China are fielding their own hypersonic weapons, and the U.S. is actually lagging behind.
Mentioned two major nations, Russia and China, having their own hypersonic weapon system. Let's listen to that again.
Since Russia and China are fielding their own hypersonic weapons, and the U.S. is actually lagging behind.
The U.S. is lagging behind. Joel 3, let the weak say I am strong.
And the U.S. is actually lagging behind. In this video, Defense Update analyzes how the Dark Eagle hypersonic weapon of the U.S. Army could be an excellent deterrent against Russia and China. Let's get started. This video is sponsored by War Thunder.
But they forgot about the Most High because they don't believe in the Most High.
Are, like us, fascinated by military vehicles in the air and at sea on more than 8 said to be hypersonic once they exceed the speeds of Mach 5. That's 5 times the speed of sound. This is about 1,715 meters per second, or 3,836 miles per hour, 6,174 kilometers per hour. There are currently 3 methods being applied to make hypersonic weapons. The first is using a scramjet engine. The scramjet is an innovation on the ramjet. Ramjet engines can power flight to supersonic speeds, but scramjet can enable the missiles to reach hypersonic speeds. The scramjet engine can power a hypersonic cruise missile. The second, from land or sea-based platforms. The third is using HGV, or hypersonic glide vehicle. In this method, the system is launched to extremely high altitude using a ballistic missile, where it skips across the Earth's atmosphere. The vehicle then separates from the carrier and glides back to the Earth towards its intended target, attaining hypersonic speed. The glide vehicle could be powered or unpowered. Dark Eagle uses this approach based on CHGB, or Common Hypersonic Glide Body. The design of the Common Hypersonic Glide Body is based on the previously developed alternate re-entry system.
I think you got it. Anyway, let me come back over here. Anyway, I'm gonna close it on that. With that, I'm gonna say shalom.